USA Network's new series, Complications, introduces audiences to Dr. John Ellison, played by actor Jason O'Mara. It's a doctor who is still learning to live with the heartbreak of his daughter's death. We're catching up with Jason this morning as he gives us the scoop on heroism, the new season, and all things complications, of course. Jason, great to see you.
Good morning to you.
What a cool role that you have taken on. How would you describe your character, John, in the series Complications?
Well, you know, he's an average Atlanta ER doctor who is coming to grips with things that have happened in the recent past, which have made him feel very powerless in his life. This incident occurs where he ends up saving the life of a young boy in this gang shooting, and in doing so, kills two people driving the car during this drive-by shooting. And this pivotal event changes everything for John and the world he lives in. He reluctantly gets dragged into this gang war. It turns out the boy's father's a gang leader serving time in prison, and orders John to be the custodian of this boy and make sure that he's okay until he gets better. And against his will, John realizes that he has to come to terms with the nature of his own power as an individual, that he actually can affect change, that he actually can do something about some of these situations that come into his ER, the problems that can only be solved outside of the hospital. And that's really what it's about. It's about a doctor who has to rely on skill sets other than the one he's trained for to stay alive.
Well, and now as the story plays out, are there any kind of flashbacks to really give us the story from before? Will the audience be seeing any of that? Maybe what life was like with his daughter?
Yeah, you do. I mean, every episode from this point on, we're about halfway through the season now as I speak to you, and there are sort of more and more flashbacks which show John and his family in happier times. We don't linger on that stuff, but it's important to know where John's coming from, to understand that the decisions that he makes. For example, I mean, he's getting to the point now where the police are breathing down his neck. They're getting suspicious of him, that he's working with these gang members. Even though John doesn't have a choice, he also doesn't feel that talking to the police is a choice either. So he's getting himself into more and more trouble as time goes on. So every episode is getting more and more intense as John keeps lying and keeps trying to get himself out of these very dangerous situations. The only ally he has really is a nurse called Gretchen, played by Jessica Zor, and they become this sort of dynamic duo of sorts, coming to, and they're also very different characters as well. They're sort of polar opposites, but they're sort of getting to the point where they have to bail each other out.
Yeah, certainly a series that keeps you on your toes. That's what I really love about it. Is there any particular scene or new episode that you are excited for people to watch play out?
In episode 5, there's a scene where I have to do this improvised operation on Darius, who's sort of the lieutenant of the gang, and he's got a bullet in his leg. And because the gang task force is present in the hospital, I can't be seen operating on his leg in the hospital. So I have to drag him into this sort of physical fitness room, this rehab room, and do the operation in there instead. And it's a very intense scene. It's very touching as well. And you realize that John and Darius actually have more of a connection with each other than we first thought. So it's a scene that really encapsulates the series, because I think it takes people off guard, and it definitely brings the story around in a way that audiences least expect.
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, it does catch the audience off guard, and in a good way, and I can tell it just gets better and better as each episode unfolds. So Complications airs Thursday at 9 on USA. And Jason, as we close here, what do you want your audience to take away from the shows as the series plays out?
I think only that, you know, it's tough getting audiences into something new. And even with like great shows like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. It took me a few episodes to really kind of get into it. And we are, halfway through season 1 now, and I guess what I want the audience to get out of it is that, once all these situations are set up, every episode just starts to pay off and really starts to deliver for the audience. This isn't one of those shows that's going to end up with a sort of a cliffhanger and never come back. The end of season 1 is wrapped up quite nicely, and there's a definite sense of satisfaction for the audience from the first episode to the last. It plays out as a complete story, and so I just wanted to let people know who are maybe considering investing in the show that their investment will be rewarded.
Oh, so true. It's such a good point. So thank you so much. Again, Complications airs Thursday at 9 on USA. So great to have you on the show. We look forward
Thank you for having me,
to tuning in. And we'll have more on this segment posted online, and that's going to be at fox4morningblend.com.
Guess what? It is giveaway time. The fourth person to call, 239-673-3388, is going to win 4 tickets to see American Idol Live Tour 2015, coming to Barbara B. Mann on July 12th. Now, you cannot win if you've won anything with Fox 4 over the last 90 days. So good luck and enjoy the show. All right, up next, say so long to So Skin, how Swan Centers can help return your youthful glow. Stay with us.